Hi everyone. So we are once again here for another session of Insights Corner, and this month we have planned to cover EULAR 2025. Um, Apologies for a little being a little late, but we were summarizing a lot of EULAR reports, but there are other conferences also which we were covering. So hence the slides were ready, but I was traveling. So yeah. Now let's talk about EULAR 2025. Uh, uh, Before we do, just for new people who have recently or the first time they are watching this video, every month we come up with a topic for Insights Corner. This is an initiative by Octavus Consulting. We every month come and talk about a certain topic. We create slides generate insights on that topic, and it is available for everyone. You have to just drop in an email, and the slides can be available to you. So you can always come and just drop us an email, and we will share the slides with you. You can ask us for the slides of our previous events also, previous Insight Corner topics also. So, without further ado, let's move forward. This is about our capability and about our about us. So moving forward, this is me, and this is Aditya, right? So we are basically uh, managing Octavus Consulting, and then yeah, if you need any support, feel free to reach out to us on our LinkedIn or our email addresses basically. Now, to summarize EULAR 2025, firstly, obviously, covering EULAR would be a little completely would be a little difficult. So I'll tell you that we have specifically chosen a specific indication in EULAR and the reason behind it. But the objective is to present latest clinical data, research advancements in rheumatic diseases and musculoskeletal diseases. And we encourage people to present results at EULAR, EULAR events and the now and now talking about number of abstract sessions. So here you can see that what we have done is we have summarized all the EULAR abstract sessions basically. So indications basically we have differentiated into indications. We have tried to incorporate few indications within. The bigger indications also. There were other rarer indications, but we have clubbed them into bigger indication basically, right? So for EULAR is basically rheumatology conference, and initially we thought that let's cover rheumatoid arthritis, but we found a peculiar pattern, right? Rheumatoid arthritis is basically a very big indication. There are close to 338 presentations, and which were divided into across 19 sessions. And there were like 37 KOLs who were or faculties who were involved into those indications, right? Um, but we chose to go with psoriatic arthritis. The reason is rheumatoid arthritis, despite being a very big indication, but there are now the indication has become a little more, you know, crowded, and now very lesser companies are working in this. Newer companies are trying to focus on the newer indications in rheumatology, rather than covering rather than going directly for the rheumatoid arthritis. So hence we also thought that let's go with the trend and cover psoriatic arthritis before talking about rheumatoid arthritis. And obviously the pathway goes it's a similar pathway in terms of approval also. Results are the parameters, endpoints and everything is very similar basically, right? So moving on, these are the key highlights of the psoriatic arthritis in EULAR 2025. EULAR 2025 recommended the early and intensive treatment for psoriatic arthritis, especially for the high risk patients. Speed trial results for early TNF inhibitors, you know, gives a lasting benefit at 48 weeks. So which was like one of the highlights. Then some of the insights from EULAR 2025 is long-term efficacy of bimekizumab or Bimzelx. So they presented 3 years data, which shows sustained and controlled inflammation. Um, Over 50% of the patient have maintained stringent ACR 50 responses, and most common adverse events were mild, including COVID-19 infection and nasopharyngitis. Right. Then there was treat to target T2T in real world practice, which was like monitor psoriatic arthritis study or monitor PSA study. At 52, 58 weeks, it shows 37% of the patient achieved good response based on PASDAS. Yeah. So now, in talking about emerging therapies, so there were multiple emerging therapies, and we will talk about them in the later slides. But two highlights were uh, sonelokimab, which is a nanobody targeting IL-17A and 17F, which demonstrated, favorable safety and higher rate of minimal disease activity, basically. And our BMS's TYK2 inhibitor that also showed clinical benefits over placebo at 16 weeks. Right. In terms of personalized medicines and biomarkers, EULAR highlighted that growing role of they have emphasized about the growing role of biomarkers and precision medicine. Right. So and they have spoken about synovial fluid analysis, tailored therapies, and predictive outcome analysis or predictive algorithm in psoriatic arthritis, right? And in terms of talking, and any presentation, any conference right now is incomplete if we don't talk about digital or AI. AI. So yes, there were multiple sessions where artificial intelligence, integration of artificial intelligence, digital tools was discussed during the conference. Now, this is more like a market overview of psoriatic arthritis. So, what we did was we assessed what happened in last 4 or 5 years. So, firstly, we'll see that in last 4 years, deals related to psoriatic arthritis, and we see that in 2022 there were only two, 23 there were only one, but 24 was a high jump in psoriatic arthritis deals, basically. So there were total 9 deals which happened in psoriatic arthritis space. Right now we are in the first half, already 4 deals have already happened in psoriatic arthritis. So this also provided a proof to our benefit that psoriatic arthritis is definitely a growing space within the rheumatology space, basically. Now, in terms of, we also checked into the fundings data. In last 4 years, in 2022, there were 5 companies which were focusing on psoriatic arthritis and have gotten and raised funds, basically. Uh, Two, and then again last year, 2024, 6 companies. So far in first half, we have only one company, but yeah. Now let's talk about the in 2025 there were deals happened between Samsung Bioepis and Nipro. Biothera had 2 deals, one with Dr. Reddy and another one with Accord. Teva had a platform and product purchase deal with Lumicera this year. And this is, I'm talking about, these are like top deals of this first year, basically. All the deals, sorry, actually 4 deals, all the deals of first year. Right. Now, in terms of funding, so far there has been only one funding, which is Moon Lake, which has taken a $75 million loan fund from Hercules Capital. So overall, what we are trying to say from the top half of this presentation or this slide basically is that psoriatic arthritis has been picking up. There have been multiple deals, fundings, and so on and so forth. Now, if we talk about, because EULAR is EU specific, obviously there were American companies or global companies presenting their global results, but because it is EU specific, we have focused on the epidemiology, psoriatic immunology, psoriatic arthritis immunology, epidemiology within the Europe. And then if we talk about gender bifurcation, it's equal 50-50. Now, in terms of, at a global level, region-wise comparison, we have also done in the right side of this section, basically, where we have shown that out of 100,000, how many, patients are, you know, being diagnosed basically. So prevalence is basically in Europe, prevalence is 207. North America, including US and Canada, which is 64, and Asia overall is 37. So which shows that Europe is basically has a lot of psoriatic arthritis patients, and it's increasing day by day. Where if I talk about some incidences, so Sweden has the incidence of 20 to 22 new cases per 100,000 adults per year. This data is a little older data, but this was publicly available data, right? We have one thing which I want to add here is that in this Insight Corner section, basically we try to incorporate data which is available on secondary domain, freely available domains, right? But yes, if need be, we can always access the proprietary databases to access the data basically. Now, in terms of highlighting some of the highlights, so 2024 UC Davis study, total body PET scanner to be detect body PET scanner to detect inflammation in psoriatic more accurately than standard exam basically. So it turns out that total body PET scanner is highly efficient in detecting PSA. Right. Then we can talk about OMRACT framework. This article reviews the latest ways to access psoriatic arthritis by helping an inclination to find best tools, grappa, and so yeah, all these are the key highlights. We thought that regulatory highlights, I would say, about psoriatic arthritis. So moving on. Now, in the previous slide, we spoke about how many deals has happened and then fundings. So what we have done is we have tried to speak about all the deals here, and we have gone from latest to the oldest, basically from top to bottom. As I've already told you, Samsung Biopas deal has just recently happened in June between Samsung and Nipro. It's a sales and co-promotion deal for SB17, which is basically a psoriatic arthritis biosimilar, basically. Right. And which is for South Korea and Japan, basically. Right. So similarly, if we talk about there are other deals which are for different locations, for different molecules. Some are platform deals. So we have tried to specify that. We have a lot of data about the deal sizes and all. So if anyone interested, you can reach out to us. Now moving on, we have tried to create a Europe-based landscape, basically a psoriatic arthritis landscape, which is EU focused, basically, right? So we already know that there are like 12-13 molecules which are already approved in EU for psoriatic arthritis, standalone also, and these are some of them. Some of them are approved in rheumatoid arthritis and later got approved in psoriatic arthritis, right? So, on approved molecules are these like I would say 16 molecules which we have covered here. Now, in terms of new assets, so there are certain new assets which are in discussion. We have BMS's TYK2 inhibitor. We have MoonLake's IL-17A 17A nanobody inhibitor, which has a phase 3 plan. Then we have another TYK2, which is Takeda's basically, and Sun Pharma's tildrakizumab is also being assessed in psoriatic arthritis. So just to highlight that Sun Pharma's tildrakizumab is already approved in other dermatological indication basically. Right. Now, in terms of phase 1 and phase 2, you can see we have Selection's molecule and Altru Bio's molecule. So Altru Bio's molecule has completed phase 1 results some time back. The company has claimed that they are planning for phase 2, though the trial is a bit longer than expected, but we have still kept this molecule in the assets basically. Now we have few molecules which are already approved in psoriatic arthritis basically, but they have LCM strategy in pediatric population. So you can see it on the top side. Trimfia, Skirizi, Otezla, and Tals. These are like four molecules which are in phase 3 and phase 3 for pediatric population basically, and some of them are actually near approval. Moving on, again, if you need those regulatory information or those updates, do let us know. Feel free to reach us. We'll be happy to, provide that information to you. Now, moving on. Now we have also created a biosimilar landscape. So, each reference molecule is in the orange umbrella, and the biosimilars are given below, right? So Enbrel, we can always we know Benpali is very you know long back approved. Then Sandoz Erelzi also. Then in the approved we have Tedra molecule, Humira, we have Remicade, and Symphony molecules based Remicade. So these are all approved. But then we have phase 3 molecules such as uh, Formicon's molecule Biothera, which was also done in a deal as well, Biothera molecule. Then we have Accord's molecule again. This year we had a deal for that one. Then we have Celltrion, Elvotecin, and so on and so forth, right? These are different molecules for different you know uh, reference drugs basically. So these are all biosimilars being assessed, approved, specifically you. The landscape, and then just to be very upfront and candid, the landscape is much more bigger, but we have tried to take some of the leading molecules plus, key bigger highlight molecules basically, right? So there's always a scope of adding more molecules here, right? Now, what we have done is we have profiled two molecules for you. One is approved molecule in psoriatic arthritis space, and another one is a pipeline molecule. And then obviously presented their results as well. So in the approved molecule, we have taken Bimzelx, um, which is UCB's molecule basically, right? So UCB is a private limited company based out of Belgium. They are very uh, focused on immunology and neurology. The total sales for 2024 was $7.22 billion. We have taken an exchange rate, so obviously they reported in euros, but yeah, they have spent close to again approximately $2.1 billion in their R&D in 2024. Right. So now, if we talk about Bimzelx, It was first approved in 2001. It's a subcutaneous formulation, right? And if we see into the sales of compare the sales of Bimzelx with the company's sales, we see that in 2024, Bimzelx contributed approximately 10% um, of UCB sales. Basically, the sales in the graph down is all given in euros, right? So that, and then we talk about, and then if we want, we can see that the timeline, basically the European and US approval timeline. In 2021, it was got approved in EU in 2021 August. It got approved for psoriasis. Then in 23, it gets approval in psoriatic arthritis and NRA ACX AXS, basically. And then again in April 2024, it got approved in hidradenitis suppurativa, which is a dermatological indication, right? Dermatology immunology indication, basically. So which is so it seems to be have following the same pathway as Cosentyx Humira, basically, right? And then again, US approval timeline pretty much follows the same trajectory, but the first approved so we have covered October 2023. It got approved in psoriasis. Then similarly 24, same indications as it was in Europe in July 23. And then October, it got approved a single injection device, basically 320 mg single injection device, basically. And in November, very recently, like around 7 months back, it got approved in hidradenitis suppurativa, right? So it's again an immunological product, immunology or dermatology product, following the same time pattern how it follows for followed by Cosentyx and Humira. Now they in at EULAR, bimekizumab or Bimzelx, basically, UCB presented its result from B complete and B optimal phase 3 studies, basically. Right. These were long-term safety and efficacy studies for Bimzelx. Um, and yeah, so in the left-hand side, you can see the trial design where the study phase 3 study is divided into two parts: B complete, who have prior you know TNF inhibitors unresponsive, right? And we have on the right hand side B optimal, who were on B-DMARD naive, who are B-DMARD naive, basically, right? In both the studies, basically, bimekizumab's 160 mg Q4W dose was given, but in the B optimal study, adalimumab was also, in comparison to PB, adalimumab was also given, basically, right? Or was versus to that, right? Now, BKZ, basically, or Bimzelx as we call it, maintained the IL-2 pathway inhibition for 3 years, and it ACR 50, 55%, approximately 55% response rate was achieved in ACR 25, and then PASI 100, obviously 67.5%, which is a huge number, basically, right? Now, it has gotten a favorable safety profile, and then no new safety concerns were emerged out, and adverse events were like 5.7 per 100 patient years, basically, right? Which is and all the adverse events were manageable, right? So moving on from it, we have another product profiled from Moonlake, which is an emerging product, not approved in the indication. So we have taken this product, right? So sonelokimab is basically developed by Moonlake. It was initially discovered by developed by Ablinix, and now it is being developed by Moonlake Therapy under a strategic partnership, right? So, pivotal data expected, its pivotal data, basically phase 3 data is expected in September 2025, and company is expecting a launch in 2027, basically. So, these are mostly company projections which we have taken in terms of anticipated approval also, and in terms of revenue projections. Right. So these projections and all, everything is taken in company's account, basically, right? So in terms of portfolio, there are multiple studies going on for this molecule, right? Like ISAR, from ISAR 2, which is a phase 3 study, to S Polaris, basically, which is a phase 2 study. So all there are like 9 studies across indications is ongoing. They have two Vela 1 and Vela 2 ongoing in Hidradenitis suppurativa, right? So yeah, that is that. Now talking about the financial positioning of the company, uh, the company holds approximately $980 million in total capital, including Hercules Facilities loan, which they have taken early this year, which I've spoken about in the previous slides, basically. Now, phase 3 data and regulatory submission are expected to establish the commercial viability within 2025-2026, basically. So if they are expecting a commercial launch in 2027, so definitely they will be filing somewhere in mid 2026, basically, right? um, some of the analysts have projected you know uh, this is analyst projections which were placed on the company's portfolio, basically, right? Now, there are certain historical deals which has happened, right, in the development of this molecule. So we have covered those deals, such as Merck and Merck and Ablinix. Merck KG acquired full rights in 2023, basically. Then Merck KGA co-developed this molecule in phase 2, and successfully phase 2B in psoriatic trials, right, versus Cosentyx. Then Moonlake in-licensed this asset upfront from Merck KGA, basically, with low, and then the terms are written there, right? Then Moonlake and SHL Medical have partnered to create the auto injector, which is called a Molly platform, right? And then Moonlake and Hercules, which we have spoken about 2 times, basically, already, right? The market value of IL-17 inhibitors market value is basically $27.3 billion in 2024, and then expected to reach $85 billion market. So this specific market. So we are not talking about any indication here. We are actually talking about IL-17 inhibitor market, basically, right? So the some of the established player in this market is Cosentyx, Tal's, Bimzelx also. So yeah, this follows the same trajectory, basically, as these all molecules, right? Okay, now one very important thing to note about this molecule is this has a unique tri-specific nanobody, which enables superior tissue penetration and best-in-class and potential and across multiple indications. So this is again IL-17. We have already seen that Cosentyx, Taltz, and Bimzelx, they have been assessed across indications, which includes immunology and dermatology. So moving on, I would say this is a very solid molecule to look out for. Moving on, we'll talk about the results about the Argo phase 2 study results, which were presented again at EULAR. So these are the latest results. The study design, as you see in the left hand side, and Now, in terms of efficacy, the data is pretty positive, and safety is this molecule is well tolerated and no unexpected safety issues, right? So, the important bit is by 24 weeks, at 24 weeks, basically most patient achieved a remission with with sonelokimab basically, and this showed improvement in symptoms, improvement in discomfort, and quality of life was obviously improved. Patient related outcome also highlight it's a strong potential molecule in psoriatic arthritis basically. So moving on from this, now we have another molecule, deucravacitinib, which is BMS's molecule, and BMS presented poetic uh, Poetics PSA 1, and they also presented Poetic PSA 2. So those two results were presented. Actually, more results were presented, but we picked these two, right? In these two, I'll talk more about the implications. Results, you can see study design is there. There were zero deaths, so very importantly, there was zero deaths. Um, there were only 2.4% discontinuation due to adverse events basically, right? The molecule improved joint, skin, and quality life outcome at 16 weeks, right? And safety, which I've already spoken about. So in this study, the it was assessed in active psoriatic arthritis patients, and it shows very promising results, right? Now poetic 2, poetics PSA 2 basically, right? Here, and the study design was slightly different. Here they had an active comparator with aplimilast, which is earlier a Celgene molecule, which was later acquired by Amgen now, right? So this molecule, this is another trial, and here they are being assessed in again PSA patients, but these patients um, have gone through conventional systemic DMARD therapies basically, right? And also have received TNF inhibitors basically, right? So again, the results were very really promising. Discontinuation similar to Poetic 1, 2.2, slightly similar, which is like 2.2%. In Poetic 1, we have 2.24%, right? And then in terms of implications, at 16 weeks, it delivered us robust efficacy, achieving ACR 20 in 54.2 patients and PASI 75 in 40.9 patients, right? And at 52 weeks, it maintains better safety, very low discontinuation. So overall, from both the studies we can say that, and these both are phase 3 studies, we can say this is again a promising molecule, right? Talking about guselkumab, Johnson and Johnson. Now, so Johnson and Johnson is assessing guselkumab basically. There are no new studies. This is a phase 3B, which is like a post-marketing surveillance study basically, right? So there is no additional data, I would say, but yeah, you know, it was pretty much the regular results which were presented. It significantly improved outcomes in biologically naive adults and with active psoriatic arthritis, right? With ACR 20 being achieved in 67 to 69%, sorry, 68% patients versus placebo, which is if you compare it with their approval registration studies, it's again in the same line, right? So Apex data, Apex is a phase 3, and is the first to demonstrate that both dosing schedule of guselkumab was significantly inhibit the structural joint damage, and so both doses they are talking about, um, uh, right, which is Q4W and Q8W. So yeah, 100 mg can be depending can be given in both doses basically, right? So now upadacitinib from AbbVie, which is a JAK inhibitor. So they presented their select PSA-1 phase 3 results. Upadacitinib is already approved JAK inhibitor in various indications, including psoriatic arthritis. The results have been very promising across these results which were presented here were head-to-head study with upadacitinib and adalimumab, right? So, nothing additional to add. More you can read here. But overall, as a summary, uh, again, promising molecule, already approved and showing good results, basically. Now, just last slide. This is something last I want to talk and touch base on that. After attending all the AI and all these sessions, basically, I feel that talking about AI was circled around or focused around three things. AI's promise in autoimmune disease care, um, use of AI in early and accurate diagnosis and biomarker discovery, and AI in personalized treatment and monitoring. So that's about the EULAR. We would love to hear your feedback. This is like our fourth attempt basically for Insights Corner. Before this, we covered AACR. We covered Big Beautiful Bill, US tariffs, and now EULAR. Next month we'll be coming up with a new, insights on this, and we would love to hear your feedback. We would love if you would want to reach out to us and talk to us about your needs in terms of analysis, or if you want just this presentation also, we'll be happy to share it with you. And this is complimentary, as I've already said. So thank you so much. Everyone take care, and I look forward to meeting you once again next month with another great episode, basically. Thank you. Bye bye.